And maybe you have enough equity that you can also have the full 20% for your as a line of credit for the next purchase. And just make sure that everything's in place and ready to go. And those lines of credits can help you for your initial deposit, which is really important. But also too, if you have to get your property ready and do some work before you put it on the market. And the other thing is that if you have a line of credit and you happen to need bridge financing, it can lower your bridge financing costs as well. Yeah.
I never knew that last point. Is there anything to speak about beyond that? Is that circumstantial to the individual, or can anyone do that?
You do have to qualify. So that's why it's always nice to start this before you have your house listed, because banks don't want to finance homes that are on the market, that are currently listed on the market. So that's where the pre-planning and doing things ahead of time, getting the maximum line of credit that you can before you go out and buy, before you list your property for sale. And then you have that line of credit, which can help you maybe bridge financing. For example, a line of credit secured on your property is prime plus a half, where bridge financing could be prime plus 4.
Right.
So big difference.
Makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
My last question is, how can a desired property, if you're looking to put in an offer, impact how much you're actually pre-approved for?
That's a great question. And a lot of times, you see, if you're not working together, the three of you, the purchaser, the real estate agent, and the mortgage person, sometimes things can go awry. So, for example, property taxes are different on every property, and property taxes are part of the pre-approval. And there's so many, and condo fees, of course, that's a big difference from one condo to the next. And when we're doing a pre-approval, we're estimating these amounts. So we need to know the exact amounts. The other thing that's really important is to really look at the listing, because sometimes there could be something in the listing that creates a problem. And people don't always know that it might create a problem, and we need to deal with it before you go in on an offer, or at least put conditions in so that we cover it off. So a couple examples. Okay, there's something called insul brick. There's not much of it, but there still are properties with insul brick. And insul brick is that tar paper that has like bricks drawn on it. So it's not really brick. And that is an issue for a lot of lenders. They won't finance properties with insul brick. So it has to be rectified.
Why?
I think it's fire hazards.
Okay.
Yeah. So so they'll want siding put over it. Okay. If there's insul brick, that would be one of the solutions. The other thing we could see is knob and tube. Knob and tube could create a problem. As is. Whenever you have as is, we're definitely getting an appraisal done. The other thing sometimes too is that when there's an as is clause, sometimes the lenders want to know why is it as is. They could actually ask for a home inspection as well, just to make sure, especially if it's an older type home, but they'll want to know why is it as is. Another issue is mold.
Yes.
So if it was a previous grow up, but even still, if there's other kinds of indications of mold, that could be a problem as well. So, I mean, there's lots of different things that can come up. We just came up with maybe 4 or 5 of them. So it's always good to review the listing and make sure that there doesn't appear to be anything out of the ordinary. Moving forward. Square footage is another one.
Square footage is another one. Yes, it is. And I say that from experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, those small homes, can we get exceptions? Yes, we can. But, on those type of things, we do want to have conditions to make sure that we can get an exception. If there's going to be an exception required, we want to know ahead of time.
And they'll often request an appraisal.
Correct.
Yes. So will you educate us and tell me, how do people get a hold of you?
That's wonderful. Yeah, so you can call me. I try as much as possible to answer my phone. So it's 416-893-5447. And it's Sandra Barnes with Dominion Lending Edge Financial. And if you reach my voicemail, it could be because I'm with a client, and I will try and call you back. I think my voicemail says within 4 hours, but I try within 2 hours or an hour if I haven't answered direct. So if we're in meetings with other clients, obviously it will go into voicemail.
Perfect. You know what? One last thing. Is there anything that you feel as though clients may not know, but they really should before either reaching out to you or wanting to get into the market? Is there
Yeah.
anything that is your first step before people kind of reach out to you?
I think people should reach out right away. Like, even if you're thinking about making a move a year down the road, a week down the road, 2 years down the road, it's never too early to start that pre-planning. Today, for example, I had somebody that is pre-planning for the potential of a reverse mortgage.
Mm.
And so we had a pre-planning meeting today, and we're going to do it in a couple of steps. And they're not ready for about a year, but they're gathering their information. And then they're going to sit with it and come back, and we're going to do questions. We covered a lot today, but there's a lot more involved and a lot of thinking and looking at their budget and what they want to do. So it's never too early to start. And pre-planning, especially if you want to buy a home, you know what? Sometimes little things can show up on your credit that you don't even know are there. And at least if we've done the pre-planning and we've taken a look at the credit, and we make sure that everything looks good, we come up with a plan, and then you're ready to buy in a year. If you wait until you're ready to buy, sometimes these things come up and then it's a problem and it can delay us. So I think it's never too early to start that pre-planning, for sure.
I couldn't agree more. The name of the game is really setting yourself up for success. So you may not be ready to get into the market as you stand right now, but it's really important to look at your entire picture and start getting more educated on what could give you a bigger pre-approval, whether that means figuring out how you can get your credit score higher, how you can pay down some debt. These are all things that may not happen overnight. And you really do want to start working on it in advance so that when you're going to get into the market, you have the best standing you could have. So yeah.
Exactly. And a great thing for first-time homebuyers is, we're going to get some new programs, but right now what we have is the RSPs. So you put the money into your RSPs, you're going to get the tax rebate. The tax rebate you can also use to go towards your down payment and closing costs. So all these little pre-planning strategies that you can use are really important to start as soon as possible.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sandra. You're incredibly informative, and any client would be so happy, so grateful, and in great hands to be working with you. So
thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. And thank you to everyone who's watching this. Please feel free to give me a call.
But as always, thank you for watching. Always like, comment, and share. Thank you.
Thank you.